Okay, so the question you've got in front of you, or at least part of it for your next analytical response, is what pieces of advice do these three authors, Sun Tzu, Lao Tzu, or Confucius, give in terms of creating and governing a successful state? Rather than answer that specific question, let's do one that's very similar and work through a portion of Sun Tzu to think about how we might develop a clear answer to that in a topic sentence and then back it up with good evidence from the source. So instead of asking about a government, let's ask a question about the military. So what does Sun Tzu say is important for a successful military? To develop a clear topic sentence for that, you want something that answers the question very directly. Then you want to be able to point to things in Sun Tzu's source to say, here's where he says this, so that you can back it up. Where you'll take that a step farther then is really in the third part of this prompt, where I ask you, hey, if you were a ruler, whose advice would you follow? That's going to get you to think about the context and think about why they're making the arguments that they make. Okay, so what does Sun Tzu say is important for a successful military? Well, let's take a look at the first portion of the excerpt. If I can pull it up here. The military is a great matter of state. It's the ground of life and death. It's the way of survival or extinction. One cannot but investigate it, thus base it in the five, compare it by means of the appraisals, and so seek out its nature. I know this sounds really weird, but basically what Sun Tzu is saying is there's five things that are really important to study when it comes to figuring out if a military is successful or not. So what are they? The first is the Tao. It's kind of like an underlying harmony in nature. The second is heaven, whether kind of gods are on your side or not. The third is earth, things related to geography and where you choose to battle. The fifth is the person who is in charge and how successful they are. And the fifth is how they use their military to their advantage. So all of that's kind of confusing. Let's put it to the side and let's think about the next bit of this excerpt to answer our question. So the military is the way of deception. Thus, when you're able, manifest inability. When active, manifest inactivity. Okay, so when you're strong, make it look like you're weak so people will attack you. When you're weak, make it look like you're strong so that people won't. When you're near, manifest far. When you're far, manifest as near. When the enemy seeks advantage, lure him. When he's in chaos, take him. When he's big, prepare against him. When he's strong, don't fight him. Attack when he's unprepared. Emerge when he doesn't expect it. These are the victories of military lineage. They cannot be transmitted in advance. What's meant by skilled is to be victorious over the easily defeated. Thus, the battles of the skilled are without extraordinary victory, without reputation for wisdom, without merit for courage. What he's saying there is the best battles aren't the dramatic battles, the one with tons of bloodshed. They are the ones where the person going into it knows they're going to win because they've planned and they have everything set up and they win easily. And it's not one that's dramatic and recorded in history because best battles are simple battles. One's victories are without error. Being without error, what one arranges is necessarily victorious, since one is victorious over the already defeated. One skilled at battle takes a stand in the ground of the no defeat and doesn't lose the enemy's defeat. Therefore, the victorious military is first victorious and after that doesn't battle. After that does battle. The defeated military first does battle and after that seeks victory. So that last point there, the victorious military is first victorious and after that does battle. They're successful even before they go in. A victory is a foregone conclusion. Okay, so question. What are some things that Sun Tzu says should be a requisite or indicative of a successful military? Well, you might develop a topic sentence that says, Sun Tzu says it's really important to be deceptive and it's really important to only fight when you know you're going to win. That's a clear claim. Then to prove that, to support it, you could say, for example, he says the military is a way of deception and he suggests that you always portray yourself differently to your enemy than what you actually are. For example, he says, when you're able, make it look like you shouldn't be able. He also says that all we should do, or all a good military should do, is fight when they know they're victorious. So, for example, the last portion of the excerpt that says a victorious military is first victorious and then does battle suggests that only the successful people are going to fight, and unsuccessful people are going to fight prematurely and they're not going to win. So think about that and think about how you might now apply the question about government. There are plenty of more excerpts in here, right? We've got some fundamental definitions. We've got ideas about victory, lots of things that talk about the person in charge. All of those could relate to the question that you're being asked to answer.